What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Zaynomics Gaming. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. Today we're back with the first video of the year. We are reviewing this pulse rifle. I love to judge it as a high risk, high reward weapon. It is called the PSI Hermetic V or Hermetic 5. I'm not 100% sure. Just a little rundown real quick before we jump into the review. This is going to be a very long season. This season will not end until June, so you have plenty of time to grind out for this weapon if you choose to do so. It is a world drop, so all you have to do is just play the game and you can get it. It is a fantastic weapon for people that are new, a lot of beginners. If you don't have a heavy arsenal, kind of like some of us that we have, like my vault is pretty much full. You will be able to actually get this weapon, and it's not bad. It's fairly good. Of course, there are other pulse rifles that I prefer, but it's not bad as a free weapon. And in any of my videos, if you watch all my other stuff, what I mean by free weapon is all you have to do is play the game. There's no set thing that you have to play. Like, you don't have to play just coil stuff or just a crucible. You can play anything in the game, get a world drop, and get this weapon. Now, they are a little elusive. They will take a little bit longer to grind for, but like I said, this is we got 6 more months, 5 months or so, a little 5 months and some change until the season actually ends, and that is a very long time for Destiny. For me personally, I do get a little burnt out playing this game. I haven't been playing in a while, so my gameplay is actually from yesterday, and I've been playing Call of Duty recently, so Call of Duty and Destiny are vastly different in their play styles and how you should be peeking and playing and stuff like that. The time to kill is a little bit longer compared to some of the other shooters out there. So the gameplay isn't 100% like perfect, but it is a good weapon, and I think we kind of have to put some of it on the weapon. First and foremost, this weapon is awful up close. It does not perform as well. It's not a good dueling weapon at close ranges, especially like close quarter stuff. So a lot of the tuning and everything that Bungie has done as far as adjustments with the high impact pulse, because that's what this is, it just does not perform very well in close proximity to enemies. This is why I tend to keep my distance when playing with high impact pulse rifles, as they tend to suffer in close quarters combat. During some of my gameplay, I would actually just hip fire. When I aim down sights during close quarters combat, the weapon feels like it is jumping around more than I would like it to, and I'm getting flinched more. So if you plan to main this weapon, then keep your distance the best that you can. Now, the beautiful thing about this pulse rifle is that it can secure the 2 bursts consistently. This rifle pumps out 36 per crit, just like other high impact pulses. Now, keep in mind, this footage is during regular control gameplay. In Checkmate, this weapon struggles terribly because now you need an extra burst to secure the kill. Now, with that being said, I don't think that this review will be irrelevant, but once Checkmate goes full on in, and that's what we're playing from here to the end of Destiny, you probably won't be using this weapon, just because you will need that extra burst to secure the kill, and that obviously increases that time to kill terribly, and you will get outplayed and outgunned in almost every encounter. Now, before we touch on god rolls, I want to let you guys know that this is a stasis pulse rifle. It is the only high impact stasis pulse rifle currently in the game. Do what you will with that information, as it kind of doesn't matter, as we can make great builds with or without this weapon for PvE. In my opinion, this weapon was meant more for PvP. Of course, that's just an opinion, that's not a fact. It really depends on you. If you want this weapon for PvE, that's fine. That's why we're going to touch on the god rolls for PvE. If you want to use it for PvP, we're going to touch on the god rolls for it. But I think it's more of a PvP based weapon. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about PvP. So this is a high impact pulse, just like I stated before. And for me, I actually like Arrowhead Break. I feel like Arrowhead Break is the best trait that you can use for your barrel perk. It does give you that plus 25 and plus 10 handling, so that would bring the recoil to 100. It'd be perfectly vertical. There are some other options. Of course, fluted barrel is another one of my favorites, just because it makes the weapon a lot lighter and it increases the handling. So I like high handling weapons. We'll talk about that more here shortly. Now for my mag perk, I am going with accurized rounds because it does give me a +10 in range. So that increases your range. You can fire longer distances. You can go with steady rounds. It does give you a +15 in stability and a +7 in airborne effectiveness, but it does hurt your range a little bit. It really just depends on what you're really looking for. Those would be my two options for PvP though. For that third trait column, you see we have a lot of different options. We have enlightened action, which was added last season. And it basically states weapon hits grant 10 handling and 10 reload speed for 2 seconds. It does stack up to 5 times, but man, 2 seconds kind of sucks. Then we also have outlaw. It's a pretty good perk. It's an OG perk. It just increases your reload speed. It's not really what I'm looking for. Heating up was added in season 14, and it basically states final blows with this weapon increase accuracy and stability while improving vertical recoil. I kind of like that on auto rifles a little bit better, but for me, I like elemental capacitor just because when I use an arc subclass, it does increase the handling. That's my favorite thing. Void is good. Arc and void are probably the best in my opinion for elemental capacitor, and I mean it's like night and day when you play with elemental capacitor on an arc subclass. It really just increases that handling so well. The weapons just feel so good to play with. It doesn't matter what kind of weapon it is, it just feels so crispy, snappy. You could just rush in, you feel like you could play. It does help a little bit when you are playing close quarters like we talked about earlier, but man, that handling is just amazing because it does give you 50 handling. Now we do have moving target on here. That's not too bad. And then we have encore. I definitely don't recommend it. I mean, it's okay. But yeah, elemental capacitor all day long for me in this third trait column. Now in this final trait column, we have some heavy hitters. I like frenzy for PvE usually. Headstone, that's another PvE. Kill clip, it's fantastic. But I'm leaning towards Headseeker or Golden Tricorn. I haven't played with Headseeker yet, but it has been reworked completely, so it does feel a lot better, and it states body shots landed with this weapon increase precision damage and aim assist for a short time. Now, Headseeker is good and all, but here's the thing: you can already 2-burst with it. If you are playing in Checkmate, maybe I would use Headseeker, but if you can shoot very well and you keep your distance, you won't really need Headseeker. It does give you a sense of security, and it does add forgiveness to this weapon, but if you can nail your shots perfectly, you really don't necessarily need it, but I do like it as a security feature for me. Now the role that I have in this background gameplay is of Golden Tricorn. Now Golden Tricorn was added in season 15, and it states final blows with this weapon grant bonus damage. While this buff is active, grenade or melee kills of the same damage type greatly increases damage and duration. Now that kind of is counterintuitive when you are playing with elemental capacitor in your other column. I'm playing with arc, but this is a stasis weapon, so you're not really getting those benefits from greatly increasing your damage and duration because I'm not using stasis. Now you can use stasis, I'm not saying you can't, but I wouldn't get elemental capacitor in that third trait column, so it's really up to you. I would grind for the role based off the final traits that you have. So if you want to roll a kill clip, then go backwards and be like, okay, what third trait column perk would I want? Obviously, if you want a kill clip roll, you're probably going to want outlaw in your third trait column. So this is one of those unique weapons to where you want to base your god roll off of that final list of traits that you can go for. So for me, if I'm wanting Golden Tricorn, it's a stasis weapon, then I'm gonna probably lean towards moving target or something like that for PvP, or outlaw. I'm not gonna go with elemental capacitor because I don't want to use stasis with elemental capacitor. It does give you some benefits, but for me, I like elemental capacitor with either arc or void subclass. And since I'm not using that, for me to get the full benefits of Golden Tricorn, I have to use a stasis subclass because this is a stasis weapon. So you going for your god roll is basically dependent on what final trait column perk that you want. So for me, like I said, I prefer Headseeker just because I am using elemental capacitor. I like using arc subclass because it does give me that bonus of handling. Headseeker does give me that sense of forgiveness. Now the role that I'm playing with, like I said, is Golden Tricorn. Now for PvE, We're going to run through it real quick because I don't want to make the video too long. There's nothing worse than making a video that's boring for the viewer. So for my first trait column, I'm still going to stick with Airhead Brake because, like I said, it does give you that plus 25 in recoil and that plus 10 in handling. I love a nice snappy weapon, and this does give you that perfect vertical recoil that you're looking for. Now for my mag perk, I like Tactical Mag because it does give you the extra rounds. It gives you plus 5 in stability and a plus 10 in reload speed. It's an all-around great perk with no negative side effects. We talked about that before. And then for my next trait column, I kind of like Enlightened Action a little bit, but I would mainly leave for Outlaw. I think Outlaw is just the OG perk for this weapon. It does increase that reload speed dramatically. It's easy to get precision kills inside of PvE, and you really just can't go wrong with it. You really can't. For my final trait column, I'm either going to go with Frenzy or Headstone. It really just depends on the build. Like I said, with this weapon, you kind of want to work backwards. So if you want to play all-out stasis, then I would go with Headstone and then work my way back. Frenzy is also a great perk. It works very well, especially inside of Grandmasters because you're constantly in combat, and it does give you that 15% damage increase, 100 handling, and 100 reload speed for 7 seconds. And as long as you keep staying in combat, you will always have Frenzy proc. So it is a great perk. But if you were trying to go for the fire ice builds and run a lot of stasis, especially with the seasonal mods that we have this season, Headstone is great as well. And like I said, this weapon can be a little elusive. It is hard to get, but as long as you play the game, you will eventually get one, especially since this is going to be a long season. This weapon was added in season 22, but I know there's a lot of players out there now that just don't have it. We are going to be reviewing a lot of weapons this season, just because of the longevity of the current season that we are in. It's going to be a little doozy, I guess, but I'm going to try to keep it fun for you guys. I appreciate everybody for watching and still sticking around. I know I haven't made any videos over the holiday season, but we're back. It's 2024. We're going to keep on grinding. We're going to go harder than we did in 2023. We're going to make this a great year. We play a variety of games on this channel, so if you want to come stick around, watch a stream or two, I greatly appreciate it. Kindly hit that subscribe button down below and the like button if you enjoy this video. It helps me out and it's a free way to support me, and I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful week. We will see you all in the next video.